There's a season for everything, and a time for every matter under the heavens, a time for giving birth, and a time for dying, a time for planting, and a time for uprooting what was planted, a time for killing, and a time for healing, a time for tearing down, and a time for building up, a time for crying, and a time for laughing, a time for mourning, and a time for dancing, a time for throwing stones, and a time for gathering stones, a time for embracing and a time to avoid embraces, a time for searching and a time for losing, a time for keeping and a time for throwing away, a time for tearing and a time for repairing, a time for keeping silent and a time for speaking, a time for loving and a time for hating, a time for war and a time for peace. What do workers gain from all their hard work? I have observed the task that God has given human beings. God has made everything fitting in its time, but has also placed eternity in their hearts, without enabling them to discover what God has done from beginning to end. Good evening. I want to welcome you to this time. My name is Luke, and I have the honor and privilege to serve this congregation as pastor. And I want to lift up that while we are at the Methodist Church and I am a Christian pastor, our goal for this service is to welcome people of all faiths, all traditions, and those even of no faiths. I want to be clear that there is no agenda tonight of recruiting you for our church if you are not part of this church. This service is a way that our congregation looks out to all of our neighbors and strives to offer a place of gathering, a place to escape a lot of the noise that is happening outside and in our lives. I want to specifically say there is no offering, no financial offering for this service, and that is intentional. This is not a transactional time. This is a time for us simply to be together with all of our emotions, all of our worries, all of our hopes, all of it. I also want to share that this service, a service like this, has been a part of many different churches and communities of faith for many years. However, ours here at Mount Tam Church in particular was only started a few years ago. And I want to lift up the name for you, Reverend Norma Jean Powell, who was an amazing part of our congregation, who was the one who really pushed for this congregation to have a service like this. And in keeping with all of the things we bring in here, this is the first service since we began doing this that she is not here physically with us, as she went on to join what we call in our church the Communion of Saints in this past year. But I have no doubt that she is looking down upon us and grateful that this service, this tradition, is continuing to take place and that we can be together on this evening. I also want to let you know that this is a service that is going to ask of you, invite of you some movement and participation. And with that, I understand that not everybody can move the ways they want to move. So if at any part of the service, there is a time where I'm asking you to move and you're not able to move in the way that I'm inviting you to do, you can do a couple things. You can either just stay put and hold on to what you have until after the service and we can figure a way for you to have it brought forward, or you can raise your hand and get my attention, and I would be happy to move for you. Or if you have a friend or neighbor in your pew that you would like to ask for their assistance in participating, you can do that as well. And as we go through the service, you'll get a feel for the kinds of things I'm talking about. As we continue to center ourselves in this time, if you look to your program, you'll find a responsive reading based on Psalm 22. Let us join together in that. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me, so far from the words of my groaning? Oh my God, I cry by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but I find no rest. In you our ancestors trusted. They trusted and you delivered them. It was you who brought me from the womb. Since my mother bore me, you have been my God. Do not be far from me, for trouble is near, and there is no one to help. God does not despise the affliction of the afflicted. God does not hide from me. When I cry to God, God hears me. Thanks be to God. Let us continue to center ourselves in this time as we listen to music. When you lose someone you love, your life becomes strange. The ground beneath you gets fragile. Your thoughts make your eyes unsure. And some dead echo drags your voice down where words have no confidence. Your heart has grown heavy with loss. And though this loss has wounded others too, no one knows what has been taken from you when the silence of that absence deepens. Flickers of guilt kindle regret for all that was left unsaid or undone. There are days when you wake up happy, again inside the fullness of life, until the moment breaks and you are thrown back onto the black tide of loss. Days when you have your heart back, you are able to function well, until in the middle of work or an encounter, suddenly, without any warning, you are ambushed by grief. It becomes hard to trust yourself. All you can depend on now is that sorrow will remain faithful to itself. More than you, it knows its way and will find the right time to pull and pull the rope of grief until that coiled hill of tears has reduced to its last drop. Gradually, you will learn acquaintance with the invisible form of your departed, and when the work of grief is done, the wound of loss will heal, and you will have learned to wean your eyes from the gap in the air and be able to enter the hearth in your soul where your loved one has awaited your return all the time. We all are carrying things in this place with us. As part of this service, you're going to be invited to lift up some of the things that you carry as well as lay down some of the things you carry. Our first activity, and hopefully all of you were able to get an ornament and a string to tie it up with. If you did not, feel free to go back to the table and get those items. And hopefully everybody also got a marker as well. For this activity, this first part of an activity, you're invited to take your ornament and either through writing words or drawing images, put onto that ornament all the things that you would like to lift up tonight. Maybe it's that loved one that you've lost, and you want to lift up and remember their life and the impact that it had on you. Maybe it's a situation out in the world, in your personal life, that has been something that you're really concerned about and you need answers for. Or you need to be at peace with no answers. You can put that on your ornament. Or maybe it's something you've seen on the news. Maybe it's something that's very far away from here, but a situation that you are concerned about and you want to raise up on this evening. So as the music plays, put all of that, and it can be multiple things, on your ornament, and make sure to also tie on that string for what we'll have to do next. The thing is, to love life, to love it even when you have no stomach for it, and everything you've held dear crumbles like burnt paper in your hands, and your throat filled with the silt of it. When grief sits with you, its tropical heat thickening the air, heavy as water, more fit for gills than lungs. When grief weighs you down like your own flesh, only more of it, an obesity of grief, you think, how can a body withstand this? Then you hold life like a face between your palms, a plain face, no charming smile, no violet eyes, and you say, yes, I will take you, and I will love you again. You have written those things you desire to lift up on your ornaments. Our next movement will be to present and bring forth those ornaments and place them on our tree here. Again, if for some reason you are not able to come forward, you can ask a neighbor to bring your ornament forward, or you can raise your hand, and I would be happy to come and bring your ornament forward for you. Some days, be strong is shit advice. Sometimes sobbing till your chest aches and your eyes burn is the only answer. Sometimes the only way to the light is to surrender to the dark. Some days, be strong is tomorrow's chore. We have just gone through the movement of raising up those things on our hearts. And there are some things on our shoulders that we need to let go of completely, that we don't want to raise up, that instead we want to set down and do our best to leave them here. I know that can look very different for each one of us, but I have little doubt that there is not something each of us is carrying that we're ready to let go of. And so for our next movement, it's combined both, if you would like to, write or symbolize on your rock, and your same marker should work on your rock as well. And you can either write it in words or images, or if it's something too sensitive that you don't feel comfortable putting on the rock, that's okay. You can just put the energy and thought of that into the rock. And in the same movement, so you're going to write, and in the same movement, when you are ready, you can again come forward and place your rock in this basket down here. Again, we raised up, and this will be our opportunity to set down. All around us, we observe a pregnant creation. The difficult times of pain throughout the world are birth pangs. But it's not only around us, it's within us. The Spirit is arousing us within. we're also feeling the birth pangs. These sterile and barren bodies of ours are yearning for full deliverance. That is why waiting does not diminish us any more than waiting diminishes a pregnant mother. We are enlarged in the waiting. We, of course, don't see what is enlarging us, but the longer we wait, the larger we become, and the more joyful our expectancy. So what do you think? With the Divine One on our side like this, how can we lose? If God didn't hesitate to put everything on the line for us, embracing our condition and exposing himself to the worst, is there anything else he wouldn't gladly and freely do for us? And who would dare tangle with God by messing with one of God's chosen? Who would dare even point a finger? The one who was raised to life in the presence of God is in the presence of God at this very moment, sticking up for us. Do you think anyone is going to be able to drive a wedge between us and God's love for us? No way. Not trouble, not hard times, not hatred, not hunger, not homelessness, not bullying threats, not backstabbing, not even the worst sins listed in the scriptures. I'm absolutely convinced that nothing living or dead, angelic or demonic, today or tomorrow, high or low, thinkable or unthinkable, absolutely nothing can get between us and God's love. I invite you to turn to the back side of your handout for the Litany of Remembrance. Tonight we will light candles, and we light these candles to remember those whom we have loved and lost. We pause to remember clearly their faces, their voices, their bodies. We embrace and give thanks for the memories that bind them to us in this season of expectation when all creation waits for the light. We remember them with love. May our Creator's eternal love surround them. We light these candles to remember the pain of loss of relationships, loss of trust, loss of jobs, loss of health, loss of faith, the loss of joy. We acknowledge and embrace the pain of the past, asking that into our wounded hearts and open hands, the divine will place the gift of peace, shalom. Refresh, restore, renew us, O Holy One, and lead us into your future. O come, thou wisdom from on high. We light these candles to remember ourselves this holiday season. We pause and remember the past weeks, months, and for some of us, years that have been heavy with our burdens. We acknowledge the sharpness of memory, the sadness and grief, the hurt and the fear, the anger and the pain. We accept and lay down the ways we feel we have fallen short and the times we have spent blaming ourselves and our Creator for all that we have suffered. We remember that even though winter is upon us and the sky is dark, with a turning of creation, the dawn will come and the light will outshine the darkness. We light these candles to remember faith, the gift of light, and the hope that the divine offers us and the stories of our faith and traditions. We remember the one who shares our burdens, who shows us the way to the light, and who journeys with us in all our tomorrows. In a moment, as the music starts playing, you again are invited to come forth as you feel led to do so. And you can take one of the candles in the box there, light it from the center candle, and then place it in the circle. Now, I want to make sure to lift up that you're probably going to have to do some wiggling of the candle to get it in there, and that's okay. It's okay for us to take our time. It's okay for you to lift your thoughts or your prayers while you're getting that candle rooted in that space. So if you get up here and it's taken 10 seconds to do it or 20 seconds, don't panic. Just keep going, and the candle will get where it needs to go. Again, come forward as you feel led to do so. So the shortest day came, and the year died. And everywhere down the centuries of the snow-white world came people singing, dancing, to drive the dark away. They lighted candles in the winter trees. They hung their homes with evergreen. They burned beseeching fires all night long to keep the year alive. And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake, they shouted reveling. Through all the frosty ages you can hear them, echoing behind us. Listen. All the long echoes sing the same delight. This shortest day, as promise wakens in the sleeping land, they carol, feast, give thanks, and dearly love their friends, and hope for peace. And so do we, here, now, this year, and every year. Welcome Yule. I give thanks for the light that you have brought into this place, for this light that we have cultivated together, for the light that shines down upon us. As we prepare to leave this space and head back into the dark world, may you know you matter. May you know you're loved. May you know that all of the things you are carrying, while that unique recipe is indeed unique, you have solidarity. You are connected with. You are not alone in your journey, because we all have showed up here tonight to be with one another. Thank you for the gifts you have offered, and may we all give thanks for the gifts that we have received tonight. The service is formally over at this point. However, if you need to spend a few more minutes sitting, praying, thinking, whatever you need to do, you are welcome to in this space. Thank you again for being here, and I hope to see you again next year. Go in peace. Good night.